Hey, what's up everybody? This is HD and welcome back to another HD commentary. I am here to bring you guys another game and just wanted to say this is for the GameCom Plantronics replay of the month, which is not actually a totally accurate description because it's 2 replays a month that I'm doing for them. So I guess this is going to be the second replay of the month of November. And speaking of the month of November, I know that most of you guys are pretty excited about Thanksgiving, as I am, as it's coming up in a couple of days. And I just also wanted to say I hope you guys all tuned into MLG over the weekend. They had their grand finals for their yearly circuit. And it was a great event. I actually didn't go there, but I did tune into a lot of the festivities. So hopefully you guys were able to tune in and support MLG, as they are a big contributor in the community right now. And you know, it's always great to be able to keep esports afloat, and not only afloat. What am I saying? It's riding a tidal wave right now. So it's always kind of nice to ride on that wave with your surfboard as well. But yeah, I just wanted to say that this is going to be GameCom Plantronics Epic Replay of the month number 2. I'm going to be doing these bi-monthly, as I said before, and essentially I'm just going to be selecting the best replays that I can find and bringing it to you guys, and it's sponsored by GameCom Plantronics. By the way, guys, if you guys get a chance, follow the links down below to their Facebook page. I believe it's GameCom Face-Off at Facebook. The links will be down below. But if you guys go check it out, you guys will get an opportunity to win a free $100 headset. And all you guys have to do is answer the questions that they're going to ask regarding this replay right here specifically. I think they'll ask 2 or 3 questions. Answer them correctly. You guys get a chance to win a free headset. I mean, honestly, it's free stuff, free gear. I mean, that's just so awesome of them to be able to do something like that. Just showing that, you know, there's a lot of companies that are really backing the esports scene and making themselves known. So if you guys get a chance, support them by doing that. And you guys can also support them by checking out their website and other media links as well by simply just following the links below in the more description section, which you guys can expand by clicking the box below. So yeah, that's that, and we'll have to see how this is going to work out. Now this is going to be a replay between a Zerg player named Dejavoo. He will be the blue Zerg at the top left. Antigua Shipyard is going to be the map, and his opponent is going to be KTLuckyZ. And I don't know if this is KT, like the pro gaming clan KT from Brood War, KTF Magicians. I don't think so. I'm not entirely sure. All I know is this is a really highly rated replay, and I don't think this is a player from, you know, actually KT Magicians, which is a, you know, sponsored pro gaming team for Brood War in StarCraft, in the first StarCraft. So I don't know, we'll have to see. If I see any Korean characters, then I'll be able to make a better judgment, a better assessment of the situation. But judging that from the fact that this guy is named Dejavoo, and I've never really seen a player like Dejavoo before, I'm going to assume that this is just a very highly rated replay and some pretty awesome stuff happens. So that's that. It's going to be a Zerg versus Protoss, as you guys can see here. This is, of course, with the new patch and everything like that, patch 1.4. And it does look like Lucky's puts a very interesting cannon all the way to the top left of his expansion. Now, he has Forge Fast expanded, which is very common for Protoss players to do against Zerg. Almost 90% of the time, Protoss players are going to Forge Fast expand, because a lot of Protoss players now have... Oh, interesting pylon. That may come into play. But as I was saying, a lot of Protoss players now have gotten very well versed with expanding and holding down any types of Zerg aggression. They're extremely talented when it comes to just walling off their front door, getting the right number of cannons down, and putting them all in the right positions. It's very key for Protoss players to kind of get their SimCity in the right way. Any leaks, of course, will obviously be exploited by a very good Zerg player. And with all the practice that Protoss have had since beta, since the day StarCraft 2 came out, they've really been able to perfect their walls. So not surprising that he decided to Forge Fast expand. I actually do like the cannon placement now that I think about it, because, you know, any Zerg forces that do come around, the only opening is behind here, but that cannon is going to make it very hard for Zerg forces to kind of break through. And speaking about this pylon, this is a nice pylon. Oh, it's going to get scouted though by Dejavoo. Very nice. But this was a nice pylon because he could have warped in units to harass the third. He could have also, you know, built some cannons here to harass the third as well. But Dejavoo very smartly sending his Overlord down to the bottom left where potential pylons could be, and he quickly dispatches 4 Zerglings out of that pylon, and that will take it down. Also, as you guys can see, he did he is going to play the macro game here, where he's just going to be droning up. He's going to be commanding as many hatcheries as possible. He just wants to get the eco game going. And against a Protoss player that goes for that Forge Fast Expand, this really is the smartest decision, I would say, especially on this map, because it's not exactly the easiest thing to kind of bust down this front wall. Rather, it's much smarter to just get a third hatchery going, get your macro going, and really just play towards the late game. Which is Zerg's, which is what Zerg really thrive at. Now, we do have Lucky here pushing out with a couple of Stalkers and a Zealot. This is kind of random. Interesting aggression here, and you guys can see Dejavoo not quite prepared for it. Has to throw down 2 Crawlers, but with the Crawlers being out in the open like that, I would not be surprised to see Lucky. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and attack that. The second Crawler is... it's probably going to be safe here, as the Zerglings have come out for Dejavoo, and Dejavoo getting Zerglings out just in the nick of time. But look at that, he's producing 18 more, and for a split second there I saw 24. So essentially, even if Lucky loses that Zealot, which he already lost, and these 2 Stalkers, really, he's caused significant damage in the ranks of the Zerg player because of all those Zerglings that are now out on the field. Look, that's all wasted minerals now, because really Dejavoo cannot punch through this front door. Not this well designed of a door. Every single crevice, every single little opening has essentially been sealed off, with the exception of this one back here, possibly. But really, those Zerglings are going to be worthless now. I don't see them being able to break through. Dejavoo could have been at, I don't know, 60 workers right now, but essentially he's only at 48 because of all those Zerglings on the field. And so I think LuckyZ certainly accomplished a little bit with that push. And now it looks like he's going to go ahead and gear up for his 3rd expansion. So that's his playstyle now. He's also getting a Twilight Council and a robotics facility at the same time that he's expanding. So I feel like it's a little bit risky, but eventually as a Protoss player you do have to get that 3rd. But KTLucky is going to have to be very careful, because like I said, Dejavoo's got a lot of Zerglings out on the field. And if Dejavoo wanted to, he could certainly run in there and deny that Nexus from going up right now, really. So we'll have to see if he does that, or if he's just going to stay back and chill and hang out. He's actually going to go for a Spire right now. Now, this is really cool, because a lot of Zerg players nowadays, against Protoss especially, are starting to just go buck mutas. Essentially, they're just going mass mutas and hoping to basically outfly the enemy Protoss and basically harass them to death. And I think the reason why a lot of Zergs are doing this is because they've found that Roach Hydra is very, very hard to pull off against a Protoss player that really masses Colossus, which is, it's pretty easy for Protoss to do, in my opinion. And Zerg can have a hard time with that. So a lot of Zergs now are kind of taking to the skies. They're trying to eliminate the ground problems by going up in the air. And the Mutalisks have really, really been able to help a lot of Zerg problems out. But the difficulty is really getting there. You guys can see Dejavoo right now saving up a lot of gas. He's got 900, 1,000. He's going to have 9 or 10 Mutalisks coming out here. Probably 10, as he's got enough time to get 1,000 gas as soon as that Spire finishes. So he's going to have 10 mutas here. And LuckyZ has essentially placed his cannons at the front, expecting a frontal attack. But little does he really know that it's going to be a back attack here. And really, he has no protection. No protection at all. These probes are left bare and open right now. They're essentially naked in the air. Or naked on the ground, and the Mutalisks will come in and harass from the air. So there's 11 Mutalisks now coming out of the hatcheries, and that is 1, 2, 3 hatcheries, all producing mutas right now. 10 Mutalisks on the field, 11 Mutalisks, excuse me, and those probes are pretty open right now. And even the probes at the natural and the probes at the main, essentially Lucky has no idea that these Mutalisks are out on the field right now. He has no observers inside the main, and I really think that's a mistake. He had the robotics facility for some time. He didn't make an observer. At least I don't think he did. And now those Mutalisks are just going to have a heyday in those probe line, And look at how many probes are going down. That's pretty devastating. Dejavoo here killing off 9 workers already and halting all mining from going on at the 3rd. I actually feel like he should be a little bit more aggressive right now. I think... Oh, wow, there's some Zerglings running into the natural now. They are being distracted by the pylon for a second there. They need to go right into the natural, and that's what they do. But with the Zealots morphing in here, I think that Lucky should have enough Zealots and cannons to hold this off. Yes, he will, although the Forge may go down as the Forge is quickly researching ground armor level 2. Ground armor level 2 will be canceled. The Zealots will hold steadfast inside the mineral line, just barely it looks like, and incredible hold right there from Lucky, but he did suffer some technology damage as his ground armor level 2 was pretty much set back in a major way. No doubt even losing a chrono boost or two in that upgrade going down as well. So Lucky, I think he held off the Zergling harass very well. He did lose 9 probes at the third, but the major thing to take away here is Lucky is now prepared for the cannon harass, and as you guys can see, warping in cannons at the main, warping in a couple cannons at the natural, which actually really came in handy when dealing with those Zerglings, and now making cannons, or essentially soon to make cannons, at the back of the third. So those 11 Mutalisks, a heavy investment, and I don't know if they really paid their dues, you know? Now there's Templars out on the field. Lucky is really prepared for those Mutalisks now, and I really doubt how effective they're going to get at this point now. I think Dejavoo hasn't done enough damage to really justify their costs. It's still a pretty close game, though. He is going to come in here and he's going to pick off that pylon, powering up 2 warp gates. So those 2 warp gates will go offline for a little bit at a time. Someone going to call the cable guy to fix that up. And Lucky is going to lose a little bit more mining time at his main as Dejavoo, once again, going in for more harass. Pretty good harass right here from Dejavoo. And that second wave. And if anything, he actually forced all these stalkers to come back from the middle of the field. There is a opportunity there, I think, for Lucky to make a push with all of these Blink Stalkers, but he had to pull them all the way back to defend against the Mutalisks. So, at the very least, those Mutalisks doing a little bit of harass in terms of, you know, not allowing the Protoss player to attack him and forcing him to be a little bit more defensive. And now Lucky does have a Warp Prism back here, but it is spotted. I don't know how Dejavoo saw that. I think he may have just barely seen it on the edge of his vision, and he will not pick off the Warp Prism. That Warp Prism is so lucky, it barely gets out with its hide, or I guess it's paper, what is that, like a bee comb hive for wings? I don't know what it is, but it barely gets out of there intact. And it looks like the rocks are going to go down. This Mutalisk clump is actually getting a little bit big now. Now, the one thing, as you guys all know, it's not hard of the swarm yet. Protoss players do not really have a capital airship tool to deal with mass mutas yet, and this is something that Protoss players do have a problem dealing with. Although, really, one of the most comprehensive ways they can deal with mass mutas is a lot of Templars and Archons. Speaking of Templars, we do have a big storm going down. That's a great storm, killing off several workers and reducing their hit points very low, but actually only 3 workers going down, and the Templars getting dropped off here. I don't know, I guess they didn't want to escape, but oh! They had enough energy for another storm, and a huge storm goes down. 17 workers now killed. That number just skyrocketed, and Dejavoo now at only 60 workers, so he lost a lot of workers. He is behind the Protoss right now, but he's looking to do a little bit of a Muta harass to hopefully climb that number back in his favor, but no, he's pushed away by the Blink Stalkers. So really not able to do any damage inside the Protoss main. This game is actually really interesting. Now I can see why this was selected as a replay of the week. Speaking of interesting things, we've got one of the most interesting units of the Zerg arsenal coming out on the field here. 10 Infestors and a Kumbaya of Zerglings around a Creep Tumor. So 10 Infestors with Pathogen Glands on the way. Dejavoo essentially playing this like a ZVT almost. Muta Infestor Ling. And we'll have to see how this is going to work out. Now, I really think Storm, in fact, just High Templars in general, are going to be the devastating factor. Oh my god! Speaking of devastating factors, look at all the Zerglings that just ran into a Storm wall right there. And look at the pool of blood. The units lost tab now reflecting a large number of units lost for Dejavoo. Dejavoo just threw away about 50 Zerglings into a wall of storms. Really, I think Lucky was a little bit lucky right there that he had Templar in the right place at the right time. But now he needs Templar back in his main. No, maybe just enough Stalkers actually to hold that off. Really interesting attacks from both sides here. And wow, those Zerglings, they ran into a lot of storms. So Lucky, like I said, he was a little bit lucky right there to have all of his Templars in the right spot at the right time. They landed a money storm, a couple of money storms actually, and those Zerglings met their demise pretty quickly. There's still that Warp Prism in the back here. I don't know. It's actually going to make a run for it. Nice little shift rally roadmap right here. LuckyZ going to go ahead and go right into the natural. Does he have any good harass units to drop off? No doubt he has Templar, but there's no Kaidaran Amulet anymore, so the War Prism is going to go down. Doesn't even matter. And it looks like LuckyZ is going to be pushing into the middle of the field. That's a very large army of, oh, I love the composition. Charge Lots to deal with Zerglings, Stalkers to deal with Mutas, and Storm to deal with everything else. Don't forget he has feedback as well, but the Infestors come in. A beautiful fungal growth hits all the Protoss army, and look at the Storm! The Storm is destroying everything! And all of those Templars, for a second there I thought he over-invested into Templars, but they definitely paid off as the redundant Storm, just a constant carpet storm, disrupting everything in the Zerg army, and Dejavoo losing pretty much all of his forces, and now the Protoss army still standing, and that's where the Templars really come into play. Their resiliency, because even when they use all their energy, even when they expend it all, they can still become the mighty Archon. And LuckyZ just having 4 of these big blue balls of Archons, really able to just withstand so much damage. And thankfully Dejavoo's just he had a lot of money banked up. Not so much anymore, but thankfully he has so many bases, and really playing the Zerg macro game to the fullest, was able to macro out, I don't know, let's see actually, 47 roaches. So he gets a lot of roaches out to hold off the possibility of losing any of his bases, and he's going to hold the Protoss army back for now. But you know, Lucky, a very smart player, has 2 Immortals with 2 more, oh my god, 6 Immortals about to be on the field here. And with that many Immortals, I mean, those roaches are not going to be effective at all. And even more interesting is he's getting the armor upgrade, which I don't really agree with. You know, Zerg units die pretty fast anyways, and the general idea with Zerg is you just want to do as much damage as possible with the units you have, because especially against Protoss, they die so quickly. So I don't know what the concept here or the theory. I don't know what I would love to pick Dejavoo's brain, but I don't really know why he's getting the armor upgrade. He should be getting the attack upgrades. But that's actually straight from Idra. I learned that one from Idra. He was like, you know, when you're playing against Protoss, always get the attack upgrades, not the armor upgrades. But interesting anyways, and looks like Dejavoo here is actually going to concede the Protoss Nexus at the gold. Really, he can't make an attack here. Look at how many Immortals, the Storm, the Stalkers, my goodness, and everything at 3 weapons, 2 armor. Oh, there's a big attack here, and the Infestors are going to spit out a bunch of Changelings, but really not that much energy. As you guys can see, they're still depleted from the previous battle, and now the Templars feedbacking, going to work. The Archons and Stalkers and Immortals are getting caught up by a little bit of fungal growth, but I don't know, man. That's so many Immortals. I don't think these roaches really stand a chance, and now the Stalkers finally feeling a little bit brave as they realize that is going to be a winning battle. They decide to blink forward in the midst of chaos, and they will be the determining factor, which is going to crush the Zerg roaches. And Dejavoo just really unable to hold his own, giving the Protoss player that crucial 4th base. And not only is it a 4th base, it's also a gold, which you guys know returns more minerals per trip of a worker. The one thing that Dejavoo does have that's kind of keeping him in the game right now is all these crawlers. He's got like a wall of crawl going at the front of his natural, but really on Antigua Shipyard there is backdoor rocks leading into the 3rd. Also, the 4th and 5th base is completely vulnerable down south. So this Protoss army is, it's definitely has the potential to be devastating if Lucky wants to go for it. And I'm not quite sure what he's hesitating on right now. He should know the Zerg has a 4th or 5th base down here. And it looks like he is going to go ahead and go for the 3rd. And here we go. He's going to go right up. That Spine Crawler really not doing what it's paid to do. It pretty much died instantly, but who can blame it? There's so much anti-building, anti-armor damage available here. And it looks like Dejavoo going to go ahead and go for a counter attack, trying to go for the Gold Nexus now. If he can pick off this Gold Nexus, he may have a chance. But no, Charge Lots warping in right amongst the Infestors. The Infestors do not have Burrow, and those Charge Lots will catch up to them. All the roaches here are, no, they're actually going to be left alone. That could be a mistake from Lucky, as the roaches are working on that Nexus. Nexus has no more shields, and the roaches are just focusing down this Nexus, but those Charge Lots coming in at 313 upgrades. They dispatch of those roaches, and the Nexus will stay alive. So Dejavoo just throwing away more forces without really any benefit at all. No goal gained. And at this point, pretty bleak situation for him. It looks like LuckyZ gonna come in here with the Stalkers once again. He picks off all the Spine Crawlers. That hatchery down to the bottom left is most likely going to go down. And what a game. Dejavoo, a couple of big storms and spells going on in this game. You guys remember the storm in the main, and a huge fungal growth and carpet storming battle in the middle of the map. But it looks like LuckyZ here going to come out in a big way. I mean, just good macro from him overall. Not letting his head down, as you know, he was definitely behind in this game. You know, he was on 3 base compared to a Zerk on 4 or 5 bases. LuckyZ was not able to get a 4th going. He had a mismatch against the Mutas, and then he really got the units he needed in terms of, you know, storms and a bunch of charge lots. Great composition, great thinking on his feet. But oh man, Dejavoo's not out of it yet, guys. He's actually got some Brute Lords on the field right now, and don't forget he's still got this wall of crawl to kind of fall back to. So it looks like he is going to, you know, keep fighting here, keep fighting the good fight, or bad fight, depending on your perspective of StarCraft 2. And some Broodlings now making their way down. Nothing really here to deal with the Broodlings. The charge lots and Templars can't do much at all. And the Broodlings may actually be able to take out this Nexus. Dejavoo has +2 weapons on his air, so, and don't forget the Broodlings are 2/2 as well, so that's pretty hefty upgrades. And the Nexus will go down, so Dejavoo with the small victory right there. Now, if he can hold the line right here next to all of his crawlers, he may have a chance. But even with the Infested Terrans coming out, the Storm could just devastate all of those Infested Terrans as soon as they pop out of the safety of their eggs. And yeah, there's the Storm. That Storm not really doing anything to buildings, but that Storm just crushing the Infested Terrans, and now all the energy has been expended and not really much left in the tank for Dejavoo. One Infested Terran's like, come on guys, let's go! He's leading the charge into the assimilator, and maybe we'll be able to get a small victory there as that goes down. More Infested Terrans getting spit out. I don't know if I agree with that. I think he should be saving energy for Fungal, but it looks like there's no more Storm left, and these Infested Terrans are doing some work, but all the Broodlords just get picked off, except for 3 in the back, and now it's just Charge Lots and an Archon and some Stalkers. The Infestors will have to fall back into the Spine Crawler wall. A couple of Crawlers uprooting. I don't know why he's uprooting now. He should have just kept them rooted, and now it looks like the Stalkers will blink forward. Those Broodlords are going to go down. And Dejavoo, not much left in the tank at this point. I think he's pretty much out of it. He did have a lot of gas saved up. Oh, fresh army of Infestors here. But there are charge lots up in there, and they are going to do a lot of damage. And that's going to be GG. So Dejavoo, well played, but even more better played. That doesn't make sense. Even better played by Lucky. So great game right there by these guys, and there you guys can even see Dejavoo kind of saying, you know, great macro off of 3 bases, and I was a little surprised too. I mean, Lucky was, you know, he was definitely contained on 3 compared to a Zerg on 4 or 5, and yet he was still able to make a great game out of that. So awesome Zerg versus Protoss. And I hope you guys enjoyed this cast. Now, once again, this is the highlighted replay sponsored by GameCom Plantronics. Make sure you guys go to their Facebook page, which you guys can find the links down below. If you guys answer their 3 questions correctly, then you guys will get a shot at their free headset. It's a $100 headset. You guys will be entered in the contest, so really it's free stuff. I think you guys should go ahead and do it because it's a pretty sick headset. And at the very least, you know, support GameCom Plantronics for really venturing forward into esports and making this possible. So that's it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this broadcast. Hope you guys all tuned into MLG and had a great time. I'm going to go ahead and cast a couple of extended series here, which I just got a couple replays sent to me. Between Idra, Whitera, and Idra and Select. So these should be pretty good, and I'm pretty excited about it. So hopefully you guys check it out. They'll be coming out in the very near future, and I'll see you guys there. This is HD, signing out. Oh, that sucks.